Hello everybody, welcome back to True Gunners TV. Yes, we're back again, back with another video, and this time we're going to be talking about Bukayo Saka. Of course, he sustained another injury after the Lens game midweek in the Champions League. We are yet to hear from Arsenal how severe this injury is. We are yet to hear whether it will keep him out of the Manchester City game on Sunday, which is of course Arsenal's biggest game of the season. And there's a lot of things flying around about Bukayo Saka. So I'm going to fill you guys in with the latest about Bukayo Saka. And most importantly, ask you this question. Would you risk Bukayo Saka for Manchester City? As I said, it is Arsenal's biggest game of the season. After this, it is international breaks. We're going to delve into, of course, the latest news about Gareth Southgate calling Bukayo Saka up to the England squad, even with his injuries. And I'm going to give you my views on that, which, of course, I'm not very happy about, guys. Let's be honest. But the aim of the game today is, would you risk Bukayo Saka to play against Manchester City on Sunday? Or would you leave him on the bench, leave him out? Like I say, nobody really knows what's going on as of yet. So answer that, guys. Get yourselves in the comment section. Let me know. Would you risk Bukayo Saka for Manchester City on Sunday? Bearing in mind, he has limped off in the past 3 games and he's just been called up to the England squad. So let's start with that. Let's start with the England squad because, guys, any of you that haven't seen this, obviously you're living under a rock. But today, Gareth Southgate announced his England squad for the up-and-coming games against Italy and Australia. And Bukayo Saka was included, even though he has been struggling with injury. Of course, we all know now that it is a hamstring injury, as I called. After the Lens game, I did say it looked like he went down holding his hamstring. But even though it looks like he could possibly be out for Arsenal's game on Sunday, Gareth Southgate has decided to call Bukayo Saka up to the England squad. Now, I'm absolutely furious about this, guys. Like, if this guy gets a career-ending injury, it is going to be down to these two fucking clowns. These two fucking clowns, yeah? Because for me, Mikel Arteta has to do more to look after Bukayo Saka. He has to do more to protect Bukayo Saka. I was very, very angry with him in particular after the Bournemouth game when Saka came off injured, even though he limped off against Spurs, right? And shouldn't have really had to play the Bournemouth game. He only trained for 1 day on that Friday, the day before the Bournemouth game. So why are you risking your most important player in a game where, let's be honest, Bournemouth haven't won a game all season, right? You give Reece Nelson $100,000 a week contract. Why can't Reece Nelson play that game? Yeah, trust in your squad, Mikel. But you've got to bring Gareth Southgate into this because, his comments today on why he's included Bukayo Saka into the England squad is it's unreal for me. You know what I mean? It's absolutely unreal. And this stinks of managers that only care about themselves. They couldn't give a toss about player welfare. They couldn't give a toss about anything else as long as they're okay. I'm all right, Jack. We'll just keep playing you until, you sustain a really bad injury. Let's be honest. Bukayo Saka has played 87 consecutive games for Arsenal. He started 83 of them. He plays for England every single international break, whether it be a friendly, whether it be a tournament. These two managers are really grinding me up about Bukayo Saka more than anything else because he's 22 years old. He's played a lot of football, and none of these two guys have an interest in protecting an asset, in protecting the player and his welfare. The fact that Gareth Southgate has picked him for England baffles me. Yeah, because as we are aware, Arsenal are still assessing Bukayo Saka. We don't know how much of a bad injury he's picked up. We don't know whether it's bad or whether he might be fit for Sunday. But the point is, he's out injured. You've still included him in the England squad, right? And this is what he had to say. And this is where it really bugs me, right? So Gareth Southgate says, when asked about Bukayo Saka and why he has picked him for the England squad, he said he's still being assessed. Obviously, they've got a big game this weekend, and then there is another 7 days before we play Australia and 10 days before we play Italy as well. We will monitor as we go forward. Will you fuck you useless prick? Yeah? Will you hell? There is no chance. This guy will sit there and go, yeah, we'll monitor him. Just the same as Mikel Arteta. Oh, we'll monitor Bukayo Saka and his fitness. When in reality, all you're going to do is go, are you fit, Bukayo? And Bukayo being, a footballer, we've all been there. Yeah. Us guys that play football, right? Sometimes you lie to your manager. Sometimes you say, I'm fully fit. Even if you're only 90%, because you want to play every single game. You want to help your team. Bukayo Saka strikes me as that type of person. The type of person who will say he's fit, even if he isn't fully fit, because his only interest is playing football and being able to help the team. And sometimes the managers have to take the decision away from the players. Sometimes the manager has to look out for the player and for his own safety, for his own saving from himself, basically. Protect your player. That is part of your job as a manager. Gareth Southgate, yeah. The fact that he's called up Bukayo Saka, absolute fucking clown. Absolute clown. And he's doing it all for his own selfishness. That's it. That's all it is. Yeah. You can't tell me that there aren't any other players out there right now that Gareth Southgate couldn't have picked for this England squad. Anthony Gordon hasn't been called up. Yeah. Anthony Gordon, he's English. He's English. He plays for Newcastle. He had a very good game again last night against PSG. Why is that guy not being called up? Why is it that these two managers have to rely on Bukayo Saka to the point where he's carrying them on their shoulders? It is a joke. It is an absolute joke. He's 22 years old. You've got to nurture him a little bit. Yeah, I understand he's one of the best players in the England squad. I understand he's Arsenal's best player. But for fuck's sake, look out for his welfare, will you? Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, we will end up in a situation where Bukayo Saka gets a long-term injury, doesn't recover from it, and he becomes another, let's just say, Jack Wilshere, who had all the talent in the world, but kept on picking up reoccurring injuries, right? I'm fuming with these managers. I'm sorry. You've got to protect these players better. Yeah, you go. You've got to. Mikel Arteta as well. Let's talk about this guy, right? Because he plays him against Bournemouth. He limps off. And you're thinking, cool, we've got Lens in the Champions League. It's not going to be easy going away to France. But guess what? Sometimes you have to look after your players. Sometimes, if players are just not available or they're not 100% fit, you have to trust in your squad. Let's be honest. Yeah, it's not like this isn't Mikel Arteta's squad. It's not like this squad is full of players that he didn't want. He gave Reece Nelson 100 grand a week. Yeah, he gave these players their contracts. He went out in the transfer market and he bought these players. So trust in them. Otherwise, like I said, we're going to end up in a situation where we're either not going to see the best that we could possibly see from Bukayo Saka, because he's just not 100% fit, number one, or he's going to end up picking up a long-term injury and he's going to keep getting these reoccurring injuries because these managers are so fucking selfish, so self-centered around their own success that they don't care about the fact that Bukayo Saka has pretty much been playing most of the season so far with an injury. Yeah, we heard about at the beginning of the season when he came out after England duty, and he said that he was having an Achilles problem. But we started him at the beginning of the season. We continued to play him over and over and over and over again, even in games that are not necessarily that important. We still play him. This guy needs a rest. I'm sorry. And look, I'm going to blame Mikel Arteta. I'm going to blame Gareth Southgate, right? But also in the mix, Edu Gaspar, you have to look at yourself as well. Because how long have Arsenal been crying out for a right winger? Oh, it's okay. We'll do the easy thing, yeah? We'll do the cheap thing, and we'll negotiate a new contract for Reece Nelson because it's better than going out there and spending £50 million on a new winger. You absolute fucking fraud. All of you. Frauds. Arsenal fans that were celebrating Reece Nelson getting a new contract. What for? What for? What, so he can play bloody Carabao Cup games? But we'll continue to use Bukayo Saka even when he's... This guy could have his leg amputated and this manager would still pick him for the next game. It's a joke. It's a joke. But having said that, we have Manchester City this weekend. This is a very, very, very important fixture for Arsenal. At home to Manchester City, the champions. We're trying to compete for a league title against them again this season. And it's time that we beat them. No more messing around. No more bad record. Yeah, our record against Manchester City is awful. It's nearly as bad as our record at Anfield against Liverpool. And the tide has to change. If we want to win a league title or even come close to winning a league title this season, we have to beat Manchester City this weekend. With or without Bukayo Saka. Because they have no Rodri. They have no Bernardo Silva as things stand. They have no John Stones as things stand. They have no Kevin De Bruyne. They have problems of their own, Manchester City. And up until last night in the Champions League, they just lost 2 games on the bounce. Of course, they won last night. But before that, they've just lost 2 games on the bounce. We're at home. It's the Emirates Stadium. We've got our crowd behind us. We have to win this game on Sunday. And if we don't, everybody can forget about league titles. Because if we can't beat Manchester City with no De Bruyne, no Rodri, no Stones, no Bernardo, then what hope in hell do we have of beating them over a 38-game season? And that's just being real. But in terms of this game, would you risk Bukayo Saka for Manchester City? And I'm just going to delve into the comments real quick before I give my views on this. We've got AJ in the chat says, big up Brandon Saka in the England squad. I'm so angry with that. I think the City game could be the one where he gets a season-ending injury. Brandon, huge congratulations on 2,030 subs. Yes, guys, keep subbing to the channel. Make sure you're doing that if you're new. Make sure you're smashing up the like button. Make sure you're doing all of that. It really does help boost the channel, guys. Please, please, please make sure you're doing that. I would definitely not play him, but we know Arteta will play him, sadly. Big up Brandon. I wouldn't play in the City game. We should play Smith Rowe. This is the other thing. We have options. Yeah, I understand Bukayo. Oh, but Bukayo Saka's our best player. Ooh. That's what most Arsenal fans will say. And I go, yeah. But guess what? We kept hold of Emil Smith Rowe rather than selling him to Aston Villa for £40 million. Why? Oh, because the manager wanted to keep him. So Arteta player. We gave Reece Nelson $100,000 a week contract. Why? Because the manager wanted to keep him. We've got £65 million Kai Havertz stinking the place out week in, week out. Oh, but you're not allowed to say that about Kai Havertz. Yeah. But these other players, they're not good enough. They're not good enough. We have to play Bukayo Saka. Get out of here, you useless frauds. Bumgate has done the same thing with John Stones, who has come off a hamstring injury. What can I say? Arteta only cares about himself. Exactly. Get him fully fit. We're going to need him more this season due to the amount of games we have. Plus, we have depth in the squad, as we've been told by the super fans. Exactly. Your Saka is being overplayed for club and country. You could lose him for the rest of the season. Big up Diego. He certainly is. Good afternoon, Brandon, and all that are watching. Need to bear in mind that Saka also has sponsorship deals that depend on him playing for the national team. He needs to withdraw, but will he? That's a good question. Keep smashing them likes up, guys. Make sure you're doing that. We've got Coco in the building as well. Man City may have 99 problems, but Arsenal ain't one of it. Big up, Coco. Abraham says, yep. City still have more than enough to beat Arsenal. This City team is world class. Arsenal are a bunch of bottlers. And we got Steve in the building as well. So, here's my view on this. Would I play Bukayo Saka in the Manchester City game? Would I risk him even if he's not 100% fit? Hell no. Hell no. And guess what? If we lose against Man City, and the reason ends up being because we've played Reece Nelson, or we've played Emil Smith-Rowe, or we've played, I don't know, somebody else in that position, guess what? I'll have more respect for the manager than what I will if I see Bukayo Saka play on that pitch on Sunday if he's not 100% fully fit, which we know he isn't. I want to see this manager, Mikel Arteta. We're not going to see it from fucking Fraudgate, yeah, because he's a clown, right? He's a clown. I want to see Mikel Arteta say to Bukayo Saka, you're not fully fit, so I am not picking you, even though it's our most important game of the season. We still need you later on in this season. I cannot risk you getting a long-term injury that could keep you out for 2, 3, 4, 5 months, which will then have a knock-on effect in our season. This is one game. One game. And the worst thing about it is, if he picks Bukayo Saka, we still could lose this game because Manchester City are so good. So now imagine he picks Bukayo Saka and Bukayo Saka picks up a long-term injury and we still lose the Man City game anyway. It will all be for fucking nothing. So my view on this is, do we risk Saka? No. Do we tell him to pull out of the England squad? Yes. Tell Southgate to go stuff himself, find somebody else to do the job, because he, Bukayo Saka, is not fully fit. And he needs a rest and he needs time to recover. He is not a robot. He cannot play week in, week out, week in, week out for Arsenal, England. He's 22. If we continue on this road, by the time he is 25, he's going to be fucked. Somebody has to be the start of all of this. Somebody has to start this process of, right, it's time to protect our player. And Mikel Arteta has to be that one. He has to be. Because if he plays him against City on Sunday, then we all know that he's going to play for England with Southgate. And then he's not going to get a rest. And then on top of that, he's risking picking up a long-term injury. So for me, do not pick Bukayo Saka this weekend. If you really have to, put him on the bench. If you need him to come on and change the game at a later stage, and he's fit enough to do that, fine. But if you start him on Sunday, Mikel Arteta, if you start him on Sunday and he's not fully fit and he comes off that pitch limping again, I want you gone. And I will keep calling for your head until you are gone. Sometimes you have to protect your players. Even if that means losing 1 or 2 games. Even if that means having to pick players that you don't 100% trust, but yet you still decided to keep at Arsenal Football Club. And that's my view on it. So there we go, guys. It is, and it will be what it will be, but we will see. We will see. Afternoon, Diego. How do you see your Palace team doing versus Forest? I think they can win after beating United at Old Trafford. Good score, give them confidence. I take Graham Potter right now over Arteta. We know Arteta won't do this. Remember him pushing Partey back on the pitch. That lead to a long-term injury. This is the thing. He's selfish, mate. He only thinks about himself. Even if Saka does play, Arsenal will still lose because Arteta will put Partey at right back and still play Havertz. You better bloody not, mate. I tell you now. End of October through November is some tough fixtures in the Prem, along with Sevilla in the Champions League. This is the thing. Save Bukayo Saka for that. Yeah? If the fucking idiot of a manager had done what he should have done in the first place and not played Bukayo Saka against Bournemouth and played Reece Nelson instead, we probably wouldn't even be talking about this right now. You know, he probably wouldn't have limped off against Lens, and we probably wouldn't even be having this conversation about, is Saka going to be available and ready for Sunday? But once again, the manager pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and this is what happens. This is what happens. England are already topping the table and other matches are friendly. There is no need to risk Bukayo Saka. It doesn't make any sense. It makes 100% sense to me, bro. Yeah. Southgate is a selfish prick as well. There is no need for Bukayo Saka to be going on England duty at all. At all. 16 likes, says AJ. Keep smashing them likes up, guys. Saka has sponsors that want him to play for England in these matches. Sadly, money is driving a lot of this. While I understand that, and I get it, but these are the other people as well that need to take a step back, right? Because they're sponsoring Bukayo Saka. Cool. Yeah? But you ain't going to have nobody to sponsor if you fuck him up by the time he's 25. Do you know what I mean? So, while I understand what you're saying, and it is money driven, and I get it, it's time now to be sensible. Yeah? If Bukayo Saka is not going to pull himself out of the England squad, then Arsenal have to do it. Yeah? Arsenal simply have to do it. Mikel Arteta has to make the decision for him. He's still 22. He's still only young. Yeah? At 22 years old, your mind and your body and certain ways that you act is completely different to when you're 26, 27. This guy's still a kid, believe it or not. And sometimes you have to be safe from yourself. It's simple as that, you know. At the end of the day, England don't pay his wages. Arsenal do. I'm hopeful for 3 points. I need my Palace to finish above Manchester United and Chelsea. Big up Taib. Big up Taib. Mark says El Neni over Havertz. Everyone gives him flack when he cost 2 mil. I tell you what, Mark, that £2 million, and he looks a better player than a £65 million. I mean, you know, the amount of players that we've had injured so far this season, Declan Rice being one of them with a back injury. Is there any surprise that he's got a back injury when he's carrying a great big 6'3" German on his back every single fucking week? I'd play El Neni as well. El Neni is a better player than Havertz. He keeps it simple. He knows his limitations. He moves the ball on to better players that can do more with the ball. And he keeps it simple. He doesn't overcomplicate shit. He doesn't try and pretend that he's some world beater like Mikel Arteta seems to think Kai Havertz is. Do you know what I mean? Like, but we'll see. We'll see. Because, you know, I think Thomas Partey will be probably back and available for Man City. Will Arteta play Partey and Rice in the midfield? I think he should. There's no Rodri there. Yeah, you play Partey and Rice in the midfield, win the midfield battle, and then from there you can go on to win the game. Simple as that. Good afternoon, Taib. Lots of guys having conversations of their own in here. Big up yourselves. Static says, Brandon, fair enough. Arteta should have been gone after messing up the league title last season. Even so, I never wanted him in the first place. Saka will be the next Jack. I want a bid for Pedro Neto now, but we know the club won't do it. Arsenal need to go in for Pedro Neto in the January transfer window. Yeah. And Ivan Toney. They're two players that we need. We should have got a manager to get Arsenal performing in the Champions League. For Arteta is out of his depth. Same way it go, bro. Big up yourself, Action Jamaica. Stephen says Arteta and Edu needs to go. Big up yourself, Stephen. This is the thing. 4 years out of a 5-year project. And we're so reliant on Bukayo Saka because we haven't gone out and addressed the right wing situation, which I think if you spoke to most Arsenal fans at the end of last season and asked them, what positions do we need to fill in this summer transfer window? A hell of a lot of them, including myself, would have said right wing is a priority. We need cover, sufficient cover for Bukayo Saka. And the football club went, cool, we'll sign Reece Nelson up to a new contract. And then when it comes to having to use Reece Nelson, the manager would rather play a player that is 80% fit and risk him getting an injury than play Reece Nelson. Baffles me. You're right, Stephen. We need a top striker. We certainly do. That's another piece of the puzzle that we're missing, definitely. As Southern Gooner mentioned, Arteta will never go for a player that has experience being managed by a better manager. Arteta only wants weak-minded young players he can control. Hard to believe Ivan Toney at Brentford. He will go to big club one day. Not sure what one. Many teams will go for him as well as Arsenal. Certainly. We have Pepe, who would have been ideal as right wing, but Arteta fell out with him and binned him. Can we say? I say them two mans must go and leave Arsenal. Big up yourself. When he signed, I thought Jesus could also play right wing. Why isn't he being played there? I know that means Eddie up front, but still better than risking Saka this much. This is the point. You know, that's another player. Eddie Nketiah. The manager gave him a contract. Guess what? He's not good enough. All us Arsenal fans that live in the real world, none of them fucking idiots that live in cuckoo land, have all been saying we need better than Eddie Nketiah. We need better than Eddie Nketiah. Guess what? Against Tottenham, we play Jesus out wide. We play Eddie Nketiah up front. And he was crap. And all of a sudden, Arsenal fans started to go, oh, just rub my eyes. Oh, I'm going to wake up now. Oh, yeah, Eddie Nketiah is crap, isn't he? Maybe we do need better. Dickheads. Dickheads. If they listened in the first place, maybe we wouldn't be in this position. Do you know what I mean? Rice is Arsenal's best transfer this season, but didn't get enough good ones. Yeah, Declan Rice has been class since he's came in. You know, I thought yet again against Lons on Tuesday, he was our best player. Yeah, he was easily man of the match. And I mean, that weren't a difficult task because we was absolutely crap in that game. But even so, you know, Declan Rice was man of the match in that game. Big up yourself, Megan. How we doing, Megan? Man City fan. Are you scared of Arsenal, Megan? Do you reckon we can come? Do you reckon you can come to the Emirates and do your usual thing? You know, and slap us about? I mean, we're talking about Bukayo Saka here. Still don't know whether he's going to be fit or not, but we'll see. We'll see. Stones and Bernardo are back for Arsenal on Sunday. Yeah, we're done out here. We're done out here. Our January must be Pedro Neto, Ivan Toney, a midfielder and a defender. Yeah, definitely. Also scary. Yes. Yeah. Depends who you talk to. If you talk to Terry Flewers, we're definitely scary. Yeah. Go watch the Football Terrace. He'll tell you Arsenal's scary. What a load of cobblers. What a load of cobblers. I mean, if Bernardo are back and Stones is back, no KDB, no Rodri, potentially no Saka, I don't see how we win this game. I don't see how we win it. Even with Bukayo Saka, I still think it's a difficult game to win. But without Bukayo Saka, nah, it's long for us. It's long for us. I mean, look at the way we performed against Lons. Jesus Christ. And we're supposed to... yeah. Nah, I don't see it. I don't see it. You have to be consistent winning 4-0. This, even when teams are having poor season, there will be a game they play fantastic. So you can't get excited over a very good win. It's doing it consistently. Yes, I agree. Arsenal have got a chance. We've got no KDB or Rodri. Yeah. I mean, KDB, he turns up against us every single time we play against you. And Rodri, well, you know, he's that steel in your midfield. But you've still got plenty of players that can hurt us, and that's the problem. That's the problem. I think if Arteta picks the right lineup, then we've got a chance. But again, we're relying heavily on Mikel Arteta. You know, we're relying heavily on him to make the right decisions. And 9 times out of 10, he just don't. Do you know what I mean? He don't. 5-0 to City incoming, says AJ. No Rodri, no KDB. Coming for a boring 1-0 City win. I don't think it's going to be a boring game. I'll be very surprised if it's a boring game. Very, very surprised. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We should have signed Maddison instead of Havertz. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I was saying that I've been saying that for the past 2 years. Go and get James Maddison. But you know, what do I know? I even been saying for the past 2 years, go and get Ivan Toney. In fact, I was saying it when he was in the Championship. What do I know? You know, it is what it is. It is what it is. I meant no use winning 4-0 at the weekend to Lons. Need to follow it up. Exactly. What do you think is the root cause with all of these injuries? Do you know what? That's a great question mark. Question mark. Mark. Yeah, that's yeah. We'll move past that. What is the root to all these injuries? I mean, it's hard to put your finger on it because Arsenal are not the only club that have a lot of players out injured at the moment. You look at Chelsea, they've got loads of players out injured. Man United have got a handful of players out injured. Tottenham, it's the majority of Premier League clubs that have quite a wide range of injury lists. Brighton, De Zerbi came out today and said about Estepinian picking up a major muscle injury. And if you look at them all as well, they're all muscular. A lot of them are all it's all muscular. So is it down to the workload or the load, as Mikel Arteta would put it? Quite possibly. But I don't know. It's difficult to tell. But Arsenal, we've had injury lists consistently for years now. And I think we need to start looking in-house because there's got to be reasons why, we're signing players like Thomas Partey, for example, never injured at Atletico. All of a sudden he comes to Arsenal and he's picking up injuries left, right and centre. Is it the demand of the Premier League football? It's higher intensity compared to La Liga and Serie A and all the other leagues, quite possibly. I don't really know, but it needs to get sorted out and quick. It needs to get sorted out quickly. Alvarez will only the goal who've been our best player so far this season. Yeah, Alvarez has been class for you guys, but there's no getting around it. There's no skirting around it. City will win 3-0. Clip it. Yeah. There's no skirting around it. I am still scared of Haaland, even though he's been poor for you this season. Haaland is starting to piss me off at the moment. Not scoring, Alvarez been so much better. Yeah. I mean, we've seen it time and time again at Arsenal, right? Players will be having a poor time of it. I remember Christian Benteke, hadn't scored a single goal all season for Crystal Palace. Arsenal rock up, he scores twice. We're Santa Claus Arsenal, and that hasn't changed. So, no doubt Haaland's poor form, and that will change pretty quickly this weekend because it's against us. That's just what happens. Brandon, I actually think we'll beat Man City. Declan Rice will be crucial. He is the crown jewel. I think Arsenal will win 3-1. Interesting. Who's scoring though, Matthew? Who's scoring? Let's just put it out there for argument's sake. If Bukayo Saka's out injured, who scores the goals? It's high intensity training on firm training pitches along with high number of fixtures and a much higher pace of the game is taking its toll. Yeah, I'm in most agreement with that, to be fair. Are you going to do any videos for the game with a Man City fan? This isn't a dig at Man City, by the way, but I really am struggling to find a Man City fan that will come on to the channel. Unless you're up for that, Megan. If you are, just send me a DM on Twitter. My link is in the description of this video, and we'll get something sorted out for Saturday. Let's just say Saturday we'll do a preview. If you're up for that, let me know. If not, it will just be little old me again. Why is it that Odegaard can play better against smaller teams, then goes missing in big games? Maddison would have done better in Lon's game and would have scored and created much more. Yeah, Odegaard was atrocious in that Lens game. And the fact that he came out, of course, he's the captain, so you expect him to come out and do media duties afterwards. But he was talking about we as a whole, we as a team didn't play very well. What about you, my friend? I believe he had 32 touches of the ball in the entire game. Not good enough. Not good enough. Brandon, I'm a City fan. Quite nervous for the game. I think we will lose. Okay, Alex. Because we have no Rodri and we always struggle against Declan Rice in the past. This is why we wanted him. Interesting take. Yeah, I suppose we're just going to have to wait and see, Alex. I think it's going to be an exciting game. I really do. Arteta is like the Titanic, sinking slowly like his style of football. Yeah, I mean, the one area where I really am worried against Man City is Doku. Doku up against Zinchenko or Ben White. Jesus Christ, that is going to be, yeah. You can just see it now. You know, Zinchenko inverting into the midfield, getting caught out on the left-hand side because he's not in position, and Doku's absolutely running at our defence. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. One thing is for sure, Premier League, much faster league than the Liga and Serie A. You don't get as much time on the ball in the Premier League, that's true. If you're pissed off with Haaland, we'll swap him for Eddie. Yeah, we'll swap him for Eddie. I remember that long left back, LB. Who's LB? I have no idea who LB is. I think you'll beat us. You'll play the same tactic you used against PSV and Spurs in the first half. Let us have the ball. If we press you, then you go. You can go long to Havertz and hit us on the break. Quite possibly. Do you know LB Lewis? No, I don't. But I'll have to have a look. Can Arteta field his players out the same way Gary O'Neill at Wolves? No, I don't know. Odegaard is a flat track bully, and the main reason Ancelotti binned him at Real Madrid, he has never turned up against the top tier teams. Okay. The LB Lewis, who is a Man City fan, he was on Terry's channel the other day. No, I can't say I've ever. In fact, I'll tell you who I might speak to. I might speak to Nobbins. See if I can get him on instead. But the offer's still there, Megan. If you want to come on, you can do. You're more than welcome to. Like I say, just DM me on Twitter and we'll get it sorted. We have been very easy to cut through in transition without Rodri. Look at Wolves against us. I know for a fact Tomiyasu will play to lock up Doku. I think Man City shouldn't press too high. Interesting, Alex. If we do lose to Arsenal, it's still 30 more games to play. Exactly. It's about being consistent throughout the season. There's still a lot of football to play, and that's part of the reason why I don't want to see Bukayo Saka playing on Sunday if he's not fit, because I'd rather save him for the remainder of the season than risk him getting another long-term injury. So, yeah, that's my thoughts and feelings on it. But listen, guys, make sure you slap a like on the way out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new, of course, and also hit the notification bell so you never miss a stream. Robin here says, I'm a City fan. I think we do lose. We have no Rodri. Pep will play Nunes. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if we can get hold of that midfield, and I think the only way we're going to do that is by, playing Thomas Partey and Declan Rice, I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be okay. We beat Man City. I think there will be a shift in how Arteta handles games. Let's hope so. Balogun, another player that could have come in handy this season. But hey, it's all about The fake Pep doing what he wants. Exactly. But listen, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Make sure you're slapping up them likes. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you never miss a stream as well. I'll be back on Saturday with my match preview for the Manchester City game. I am going to try and get a Man City fan on to do that with as well. And then, of course, there'll be match reactions after the game on Sunday as well. Big up yourselves. Yeah, I hope you're... Last comment. I'm a Spurs fan. You ain't beating City. No chance. We will see. Poro Bozo. We will see. But yeah, I'm out of here, guys. Peace.